I, I, IV, V, VI, VII, VIII, IX, X. Hey guys, welcome back to the virtual third weekend of this 30-day eBug EV conversion. On this episode, we're going to start working on getting these CV axles installed. And I hope to get about halfway through it, and I'll show you what I mean by halfway as we go through the video. Let's do this. So let's start off this segment reporting live from our organic free-range CV axle facility. So if I had to summarize an EV conversion for you in 10 words or less, it would be, it's like fitting a square peg into a round hole. So what we'll find starting out is that whereas the VW axles are 6-bolt, the Toyota Highlander only have a 4-bolt flange. So the first thing we got to do is figure out how to adapt or mate these together. There are a couple options, and Bratitude, an open inverter, was kind enough to offer the adapter idea of using something he calls a hucky puck, and that's basically using a small disc that's threaded or set up for 6 bolts on one end and 4 bolts on the other. Unfortunately, I don't think I have any more room. This is, I want to say, about 16 inches long, and I don't have any more room to wedge an inch more of adapter in there. So my solution is going to be to cut the Highlander axle, cut the VW axle, and then graft them and splice them together, use some DOM tubing to put around them and pressure fit them and weld them up together. I've done it on VW. The speeds that we're going to be going at, I believe it's more than appropriate. Just so we know, the Highlander axles are only 23 millimeters in diameter, whereas the VW are 24 millimeters. So of course, they're not the same size. How could the German engineers be that short-sighted? I will never understand. Back in the late 30s designing the people's car. Anyway, I am going to cut these off now. That way I don't have to pull them out of the spindles or what have you. I'm just going to use an angle grinder to cut it. I'll bring you in here closer. I'm going to clean this up a little bit and show you that this tapers down even further from 23 mil, maybe down to 21 mil in here, which really doesn't help us much, but I want to point that out to you. Okay, so I hope you can see this axle. I brought a straight edge here, and of course it doesn't fit in there perfectly. But I'm trying to show you that there's a gap in here. About in there, it tapers down. So I'm going to take a wire wheel. I'm going to clean this off a little bit, and I'm just going to cut it off here. And that should be enough to then join up with this one. One other thing that's crucial to point out is if you look at these ends here, so this is maybe 1.5 inches, and I'll put this one at maybe 3.5 inches, if not 4. So it sticks out more. It's as if it was starting right there. And then also this extends and widens the motor, if you will, then making the angle sharper to reach the hub. So I'm concerned about that. That's why today I want to cut these off here, install these to the motor, and see how far down it swoops, and then start weighing down that rear end with inverters and chargers and batteries. All right, nothing to it but to do it. There she is. One down, gotta cut the other one now. All right, it's time to put these in. If you could just remember that this one with this doodly dude cover is the driver's side. The one without it is passenger side. It just keeps falling out. I do have it. We always bag and tag our hardware. So as you can see, we do have that thingy in here. And this uses 14 mil nuts. So perfect. How does it go? Okay, I think it goes this way. You probably hit that with a rubber mallet or something. Not sure how grease gets in there or fluid gets in there. Maybe I need to pack it before I do that. Anyway, let's just bolt it on, see what happens. I hope to bring you in there as much as possible. It's March, guys, but it is hot. We skipped spring this year in California. Okay, so again, four studs go through this rather than 6 like on the V-dub. These are the kind of things that, you know, matter and can trip you up. So although I don't have to have a drive shaft made, you know, you're battling with CV axles, if you will. Okay. We'll go across in case Matt is watching. And this is going to start giving us the dangle that I was talking about. So there are non-locking washers here. And then there's these 4 nuts. I am going to give them a bit of a snug. With a 14 M&M wrench. All right, we got a stubby. Yeah, we'll see what angle that is. There, as you can see, it's kind of naturally shooting over it, and it's not as tapered down as it should, but nothing's weighing it down, right? So let's put in this side. Let's put in the driver's side, and then we'll keep going. Not sure how I can get you in here any gooder than that. Okay. So I didn't realize that, hopefully you can see this, there's like 2 inches of clearance, but I mean, the tapered ends have to be accounted for, and those only have 1 inch of clearance when it's like this. So I don't think I wasted any space. those of you new to automotive engineering, you know, when you do lug nuts or when you do anything like this that spins, you want to go across. So if there's 4 bolts, you don't want to go clockwise or counterclockwise one by one. You want to skip them to go across from each other. I know all of you watching know this, but I like talking to myself. And we're doing that so you don't warp it or put it on crooked. Oh man, do I still have this clutch cable in here? I think I do. Okay. One more. Okay. I'm gonna try to do this one left-handed for the clicks. Okay. Of course, that's not the right wrench. Okay. Skip one. You know, do this one. Then you have no choice, but you kind of have to do one next door. But then you skip one. Okay. And if you guys can see this, you see I'm pulling down on it to make it go on center there. This is going to be quite the angle, I'm sure. Let's see if we can measure it just the way it is now. I'm going to try to do this for you on camera. So this is my fancy little magnetic angle identifier. I'm going to try to use this as an extension, roughly. So that's what I'm seeing, you know. That's 17. That's way aggressive. We're going to try to weigh it down with the charger and the inverter and remeasure it. So remember that. It's about 17.8 on passenger side. Let's just check for funsies the other side. All right, let's see what we got on this side. $17.30. Again, I can't quite see perfect because of where I'm laying so you guys can see, but it's, you know, call it 18 degrees. That's too much, you know. We want to be 10, 12, if not way less than that. So we'll try to weigh her down and see what happens. Here we are with the charger and the inverter installed. Now we're going to see if this added any weight and decreased our angle. So here we go, guys. I'm not sure how much you'll be able to see here now with all these components installed, but I'm going to give it a try. So here's our magnetic gauge. Just kind of using this to eyeball it. Wow, don't tell me nothing's changed. Is it still just 8:30? Huh, really? 18:45. 18 and a half degrees. That's not great. Let's try the other side. Let's see what is this side? Am I losing my mind, or is this one? This side is at 13. What? I think you can also hang it upside down. Maybe it's about 17.8. Again, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's about 17.8. It's almost as if nothing has changed. Okay, well, we're not done yet. Let's throw in the battery pack next.